don't be afraid to hire the best people around you. We hire the best managers, the best leaders. We pay them well, and then we give them the autonomy.
Y'all, today's show is so good.
But number one, I've never seen an intro like that.
It is my hope and desire that not only will episode 30 still be fun, but episode 300 will be even more fun. You were made for something great, so go and be awesome.
Ten seconds remaining.
And welcome to the show. My name is Renee Hastings, and I'm your host of Renee Speaks. Y'all, today's show is going to be so good, and that is partly because of our incredible sponsor, Executive Help Now, your premier partner to private equity funds and portfolio companies delivering operational excellence through embedded virtual teams, cutting-edge technology, and deep industry expertise that scales with your ambition. From streamlining operations and managing all the back office work to producing podcast shows and keeping everything organized, our team is here to help you thrive. If you're ready to make your life just a little bit easier, hit us up at www.executivehelpnow.org. Y'all, today's guest is amazing. His name is Walter Sabrin, and he is the Chief Talent Officer at a leading organization where he drives innovation strategies to attract, develop, and retain top talent. A former professional tennis player turned human capital leader, he's known for building inclusive cultures, leading transformation, and aligning talent strategy with business goals. Collaborating with leaders like Guillermo Perez-Calva and Alex Campos, Walter champions people-first leadership and the future of work while mentoring the next generation of HR professionals. Y'all, put your hands together for Walter Sabrin. Walter.
Can I bring you everywhere with me?
Yes.
I want to go into the office with you next to me. I mean, and now you got the smile. I mean, let's talk about partnering up later.
Hey, let's do it. I'm all for it. I love it. Thank you for joining me today, Walter. I can't wait to get into what it means to lead with purpose, because that's what we are all about today, leading with purpose and power. Because as we know, leadership today can look so different depending on where you are. And so we want to make sure that we're showing up in our own true, authentic selves, making a positive impact on those around us. So,
well, Renee, I just quick thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for, providing me with a chance to speak to your audience. I mean, authenticity, to be honest with you, there's not a lot of it lately these days. And the more we could spread that word, because I couldn't agree with you more. Being your own true, genuine self, I feel it gives other people a chance to know who you are, and it just rises their boats also. So just a quick thank you to you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm super excited to have you here and to have you speak to our audience about how they can get to that true authentic self within themselves.
Love it.
So they can lead well. That's our ultimate goal, is to create leaders who lead well. So let's get started and tell us a little bit, though, when you were growing up, what were some examples of leaders that you saw, good or bad? And how do you think that influenced you in your leadership style today?
So it's a great question. When I was growing up, I don't know if I really recognized leaders, but I recognized a lot of athletes because I was very into sports. So folks like Muhammad Ali, who was not just a fighter, a boxer, he was someone who led causes, and really, to me, as a young, impressionable person, he just inspired people. So it would be people like that, people like Michael Jordan, who maybe wouldn't be the loudest person, but who led by example. So I got a lot of my early leadership examples from athletes who led either, by speaking, by, having speeches. There were folks like Arthur Ashe. I was heavily into tennis. So, that's certainly Pete Sampras, who was ultra quiet. And that kind of inspired me too. Like, there were people like Muhammad Ali who were never quiet, and people like Pete Sampras who were extremely quiet and let their performance on the field do the talking.
I love that. Yeah, so like let your actions speak louder than your words.
Yes. And the old 2 ears, 1 mouth kind of, advice and suggestion. I'm a big believer in that. You have an opportunity to listen or talk. In my opinion, take the opportunity to listen first.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. One of my bosses back in the day when I was in corporate, before I became a business owner, he said to me, seek to understand. When you are seeking to understand, that means you're listening. You're listening. You're trying to gain some wisdom and insight into this particular situation because you choose first to seek to understand. And that sounds exactly like what you're saying.
Renee, can I steal that?
Absolutely. I'll tell them you're stealing it.
Yeah, look, because I will not only take it, but I will make it mine. I will say I came up with, no, I'm just kidding. But on that note, Renee, a lot of my responsibilities over the years is training and developing recruiters, talent acquisition professionals. And I always tell them the most important characteristic for a good recruiter is curiosity.
Yes.
When you're speaking, you're not learning anything about the candidate or the company or the hiring manager. So listen, ask questions, but then listen, and let's retain that information.
Absolutely. And that boss was actually one of the best bosses. He was one of the greatest leaders that I'd had in my entire career. And even though this conversation was a part of a really hard conversation that he had to have with me because I was being corrected, and nobody likes to be corrected,
Nope.
but it left an impression, and it made such a difference in the trajectory of my career and the trajectory of my relationships, current and future to come. So I was so grateful to him, even though in the moment I was so mad, I was crying. But it was a good conversation and great advice. But
Renee, isn't that such a great example of a great leader when they can give you the hard conversation? I call it taking the medicine. You have to take the medicine that doesn't taste good, but it makes you better. And to have that conversation with someone and then to talk about them today as a great leader, a great mentor, that is an example of what great mentorship and leadership is all about.
Yes, absolutely. And I truly am so eternally grateful to him. And anytime I see his number on my phone, I still have his phone number memorized in my head. Like, oh, it's Tony. His name is Tony. Tony's calling. And I'm quick to stop what I'm doing to answer his call, because he's a great man, great leader, amazing mentor to many who are either in that entrepreneurial space or, in their careers, guiding and directing them. So I truly appreciated that from him. And that started with that comment. Well, after he said I was being a bull in a china shop, it kind of followed that.
Renee, I'm telling you, you and I are kindred spirits, because I've been called that many times.
It was not easy at the time to hear, but I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just being myself. He's like, yeah, you're getting it done, but you're killing the soldiers along the way. You can't.
Oh, that's great. But you were getting it done, and that's most important.
Right. But apparently you have to develop these relationships and get to know people and take an interest in them and their lives. I think that was the message that I got out of this whole lesson, that I wasn't doing very well. And so it definitely changed me for the better once I actually started putting it into practice. I'm so grateful to him. So, and that could be something that you share as part of your strategy too. When you're training people, what leadership lessons have you learned while attracting and retaining top talent?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, how much time do you have? Holy cow. I mean, that is that's loaded. But I would say, look, you need to bring integrity with you, because if you're not building trust and confidence from the others towards you, you're going to have a deck of cards or a house of cards that's ready to fall. Inclusion, I would throw out there. I would throw out the fact, I grew up in New York, and so I was born in the United States, born in New York. Not only did I think the world stopped and started in the United States, okay, I didn't think anyone was smart enough to really do good business outside of New York City. I mean, that's how closed-minded I was. It's just how I was maybe brought up or learned, and then, and we'll get into, hopefully, I mean, I have a global reach now, global. And I mean, I will never judge a book by its cover ever again. There are people from all walks of life, sex, religion, I mean, anywhere and everywhere where they could bring you phenomenal value. And then and the last thing that just sticks out to me, Renee, is be adaptable. Early on in my career, and I'm thankful, I read a book called Who Moved My Cheese, and just such a great. My cheese moves every day. Every day, literally, I come into work, and what I think is going to happen, it just doesn't. Sometimes it does. And that really, being able to roll with the punches, I feel I kind of came with a little bit of an advantage being a former athlete into the business world. So I had a little bit of flavor in that. But boy, being adaptable as a leader, you don't want to have your team see you sweat. So you need to be able to roll with the punches if you're going to ask them to roll with the punches.
That's right, 100%. And further to that, so being able to be nimble enough to roll with the punches, being able to anticipate what's coming in the future and prepare. That's another lesson that I learned from Who Moved My Cheese. It's like, you don't know what is coming, but something's coming. So you need to be prepared for all the different things as you're getting ready, because the writing is on the wall.
Coming. Yeah.
The writing is on the wall.
We should make a T-shirt with something's coming on it. Absolutely.
Right. Because it's always something. It's always something.
Yes.
I love that. And so as we are developing these cultures of inclusion, and it's becoming more challenging I think, in this day and age that we currently are living in. But it is so critical, as you said, to building a successful business, because you don't, everyone brings with them their own perspective, their own frame of reference, which is so different from everybody else's. And it adds, like you said, it just adds value to the business. And so it's so important for us to, I think, as you mentioned, cling to that, be open to that, embrace that, because that's how we operate in our purpose and lead with power. I think the more diverse our businesses are, or the more diverse our team is, the more powerful and impactful our business is. Do you
I
agree with
love
that?
it. I love it. Renee, can I tell you a story on that?
Absolutely. Please. I love stories.
Okay. So 3 weeks after I was hired at Venture Employer Solutions, 3 weeks, I'm there. Up until that time in my career, I was a very good recruiter, humbly, as humbly as I can say that, but I was good, but only from coast to coast, United States only. 3
Mhm.
weeks after I was brought on board to head up the recruiting team department, my CEO, Alex Campos, calls me up and he says, yeah, you know what? We just bought an international staffing firm and they're based in Medellin, Colombia. I'm like, okay, so what do you want me to do about that? I mean, like, what, that's not my, Alex, I'm US, he goes, no, I know, but go down there, check it out, and come back and tell me what we got. Fast forward fast. Okay, 7 years later, we started with 12 people in Medellin, and today we have 40,000 employees. We are in 28 countries. So you're bringing, and by the way, I get there, I'm full of myself. I'm a New York recruiter. I got everything going on. They're going to all learn from me. And boy, again, this was such a great maturity and learning experience for me, because it's not for me to bring my culture to them. It's for me to certainly bring some expertise, some skills, but it's for me to adapt to their culture and try to get the most out of our teams. So now we have teams. Renee, 2 months ago, I went to Kenya because we opened up. We have about 800 people working in Kenya for ourselves and our company, but they live and work in Kenya, and they report specifically, today's world of working remote and everything. It's been an unbelievable learning experience for me, but from a leadership standpoint, I mean, I can't be grateful enough for what I've gone through in these first 7 years here.
Wow, that deserves hand claps. That deserves hand claps. Oh my word.
Yeah.
Well, that is truly, truly, truly amazing. And maybe after the show, you can tell me some of your secrets of how all of that happened, because every business wants to be successful. And a lot of businesses want to be global.
Sure.
Including us.
Sure.
So I would love to learn more from you about that, how that all happened, because I know in your own mind, you had to go through some rethinking and reshaping and readjusting.
It was a recalibration for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
How you thought about people who were outside of the US. And so as we're building our diverse teams and building powerful companies, sometimes it takes a mindset shift in how we view other people who don't look like us. And so, and that is so
and who don't talk like us. Also, Renee, I had a little bit of a stigma with, if people had an accent. You know what it means if people have an accent? They speak one more language than me.
That's right.
That's all it means. And I have met the best and smartest people everywhere. everywhere in the United States, but also around the world now. Again, phenomenal experience.
Wow, that is so fantastic. So, how would you say that your collaborations with leaders like Guillermo Perez Calva and Alex Campos have shaped your HR approach?
Yeah, well, there's a lot, but these two business owners are the greatest leaders I've ever worked for. Again, Alex taking a company from 120 employees, 7-8 years ago, where now we have over 45,000 employees. We have made. Look, don't tell anyone I said this, but Alex is also a little crazy. Okay, he's made over 102 acquisitions in the last 7 years. So his thirst for growth is unparalleled. He's also, and I say this proudly, he's a Cuban immigrant, not born here, came here as a teenager, went to Miami, and just built. I mean, he built from the ground up technology companies, eventually getting with venture HR. And now all these companies like Salvo Global and HireFinder and Prism HR, there's a whole portfolio of companies now that are under Alex and Guillermo. Their thirst for growth is inspiring. So I don't set my dreams small. I make sure they're big, and the way they motivate their teams is very impressive. And lastly, Alex and Guillermo have never asked me or those around me to do anything that they're not willing to do. I've seen these guys pick up a phone and call a client. I've seen these guys clean up a mess on aisle 13. I mean, they are hands-on, get in with the team. One of the first things, one of my first memories, Renee, was when I got to venture. It was right around Thanksgiving, and I see Alex and Phil Urso, our chief sales officer, making pancakes in the kitchen for the whole company.
Oh,
the whole company. They had the hat, and it was a little fun and quirky and everything. But not a lot of CEOs do that, and I was very impressed. So I'm very grateful that I landed with a company that has such great leadership.
Wow. And that too, I think, speaks to the authenticity that you talked about earlier. It's like they weren't afraid to let you see the real them, like their playful selves. It's okay to be playful in the CEO, right?
To this day, where now we're such a larger company, but they still cultivate that family culture. Guillermo and Alex, they do a great job of bringing people along in their career. People get compensated and everything, but there's a lot more to that these days. And the culture, to me, is so important.
Wow, absolutely. We're very big on culture as well at Executive Help Now. And one of the things that I thought made our culture so great was our family-like, and what I still think makes our culture so great is our family-like environment and atmosphere. But we're a much smaller team than 40,000. How do you I would love to know how you keep that type of culture with a company that large.
Yeah. So another thing that Guillermo and Alex and Phil have taught me, have worked with me on, is don't be afraid to hire the best people around you. And I know it's a quirky thing. Oh, I don't want to be the smartest in the room, and everyone has those those sayings, but it's absolutely true. We hire the best managers, the best leaders. We pay them well, and then we give them the autonomy. So, look, like I mentioned, I went to Kenya 2 months ago. Now, Kenya's far away. I can't go every day. Right. So we have a leader in Kenya, Faith, shout out Faith, who, Look, she's awesome. I mean, she's awesome. She's my eyes and ears. I trust her with anything. In Latin America, we have Laura Sanchez. World, I have Maya on my team. I mean, I have a team of people that if, God forbid, something happened to me, and I'm not looking to, lose any of my importance to the company, don't share anything, but man, we have people who could pick up the slack. If I'm sick, I'm not worried. I have a team built with the best management, the best supervisors out there. Really makes a difference for me. I sleep like a baby at night. My team, they are arm in arm with their managers. And then, sometimes, things run up the pole to me or to Guillermo, but that's just been so valuable for us in our growth, because I didn't know what the culture in Peru was. I didn't know what the culture in Belize is, in India. So the hiring of the great supervisors and managers there has really helped us.
Wow. That is so, it resonates so well with me, just because that was kind of like a unicorn kind of situation for me. Like, it's like almost impossible to believe that could happen. But to know that you guys have figured it out, you have figured out that when you bring on the right people and you hire the best people to oversee all the operations in their local area, you can sleep well at night. I love that, because, good sleep is hard to come by sometimes if you're stressed about your business. And
I know my wife thinks, how do you sleep with everything that's going on? But please don't misunderstand. We had obstacles, we had challenges, for sure. Again, you growing this fast has certainly brought on, many challenges. But do you want to hear our motto?
What?
You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
And look,
I'm like waiting with bated breath.
It's not for everyone, Renee. It's not for everyone. But I tell candidates in the interview process our motto, because sometimes it'll scare them away, and that's fine, because it has to be a good cultural fit, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
Our motto is violent execution.
Violent execution.
Now, if I can explain, there's no violence, okay? No one's getting hurt, okay? But let's get out there. Let's open up a new market. Let's figure it out as we go along, instead of doing the research and the test studies and the case studies, and let's get some white papers, read. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. We're going to trip. We're going to fall. This is where Guillermo and Alex come in handy. They understand the more you fail, as long as you're getting up and learning and improving, the more you're going to succeed. That's what it means to us. We go out there, we bring something to the market, or we open up a new office, and then we're going to figure it out. We're going to get it going. And that really has been how we've grown so fast, and what I think is so successful.
Wow, absolutely successfully. I'm so proud of all the things that you have done. Someone once told me there's a book out there called Start Ugly. just start. You don't have to have every I dotted and every T crossed, but if you know you want to get somewhere and it's going to take a certain amount of just getting started, just start. The rest of it will work itself out along the way.
Yeah, and it's a similar motto. I just like our name better. I don't know. I'm a very competitive person, so I don't know. Violent execution resonates with me, so I love it.
Yeah, there's some power to that.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh my gosh, Walter, I can't believe the show is almost over. We have to give people a way of staying in touch with you, learning more from you, and figuring out how they can implement some of the strategies that you have mastered and put in place as you've helped Guillermo and Alex build these incredible businesses. So how can people stay in touch with you?
Well, thanks for the opportunity to tell people about that, Renee. First of all, let me start off with, I am the only Walter Sabrin on the planet. That's the truth, seriously. So I'm easy to find. If anyone in your audience owns a business and wants to talk about scaling, hiring, retention, whether it be domestically or globally, you could go to venture.com, and that's venture with an S. You could go to salvoglobal.com to learn a little bit, or hirefinder.com as well. You can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook and Insta, and most normal places. I have a large presence on LinkedIn. And on another note, Renee, if there's anyone in your audience, this means a lot to me, who's struggling to find the right employment, the right job where they are fulfilled and they're happy. Guys, please send me your resume or send me your information. Tell me you're coming from Renee Speaks, and I will reach back out to you right away. I will get me and my team involved in helping you in your career, whether it be salary negotiations, LinkedIn best practices, interview role plays. I'd be happy to help anyone in your audience, Renee, if they're looking, sometimes people have a job, but they don't sleep well at night, maybe because they're not fulfilled, or, they're working with a tyrant of a boss. And if I could help out there, I'd be honored.
Oh, Walter, you are an angel. Thank you. Thank you.
Can you tell my wife that?
I'll be glad to. I'll do a written testimonial.
Yes, thank you.
Walter, this has been truly amazing. You were made for something great. So go and be awesome.
Thank you.